What's up, everybody? Welcome to Quarantine Day 4, Summary Sunday, where we're going to be talking about active duty passive income's book, Military House Hacking. We're going to explain what house hacking is, how I come up with my rents, what is the 1% rule, and basically my story over the last 2.5 years, how I've house hacked and made a decent amount of money. So let's get started. House hacking, what is it? It's basically living in one of your rooms and renting out all the other rooms. So for me, in my 3-bed, 3-bath house, I rent the bottom floor or the bottom bedroom and bath, and I rent out the top 2 bedroom and 2 bath upstairs. Now, I've been doing that since I got here in May of 2018, and it's been going great. Now, how do I figure out the rent for these people coming in? I go on Rentometer.com and I can gauge what my rent is and how competitive it is to other rents in the area. But I also go on DoD Travel Pay, and I can figure out what the BH is for the population coming in for all the services: Navy, Army, Marines, etc. Also, the 1% rule. What is it? If I buy a house for $150,000, I should be able to rent that house for $1,500 a month. Now, if I do that and I get that amount, I should be able to cash flow positively at the end of each month, meaning it's money in my pocket, extra money in my pocket after all expenses are paid for and accounted for. I have extra money in my pocket that allows me to reinvest into assets that produce income for me. Kind of leading in right into my story. When I came here in May of 2018, I wanted to buy a house with the intention of having roommates at all times right from the get-go, because I knew that 1% rule wasn't working for me. I couldn't swing it on my own. So I kind of made the leap. I used my VA loan through Align Mortgage with Larry and his team at Align Mortgage. They hooked me up, got a 30-year loan at 4.375, and immediately started to advertise the house and got renters within about 2 weeks. So that was awesome. So I got here in May of 18. I closed and got onto the property the end of June of 2018, and I had renters in the second week of July. So it was great. Right off the bat, starting to make money, starting to make income, and it was perfect. I had those guys using the BAH and the Rentometer. I had them on a 12-month lease for $2,200 a month, all utilities included, which was great. Towards the end of their lease, they wanted to break the lease and buy their own property, which at the time I was cool with, because at that time I was getting ready to deploy spring and summertime of last year, and it allowed me to advertise my house to potentially another family or single soldier, single individual, whoever. And as soon as their rent stopped coming in, I was able to get somebody else in there and not miss a beat, and never missed a month of rent or payments or anything like that, because I also budget for it. But it was good. I signed up my next military couple. There was another couple that came in, rented the top upstairs, and for them I rented $2,500 a month. Going great. The husband actually deployed a couple months after me, so the wife, she was home and taking care of the house. It worked out great. And kind of similar story, towards the end of their lease, they wanted to kind of cut the lease using the SCRA, Service Members kind of Relief Act, to allow them to break the lease, and they went home. During this COVID stuff, it wasn't working out too well for them, and I was totally okay with that, and we broke the lease, and it was fine. However, I did incur 1 month of not having any renters in here, and I didn't plan for, and that was on me. I didn't have, I had friends that were kind of looking after the property for me, but no specific property management company that could get somebody in there pretty quick. So I had a month of vacancy that I paid for out of pocket, which I budget for every month, and so I had no issues there. And then closer towards when I was coming home from deployment, I advertised the house, and I was able to get somebody in and under contract within about 5 days. And they were actually able to come out a month before my house, or a month before I came home from deployment, and they got all settled in. I had friends open up the house for them, and it worked out great. She also came in for 12 months, 12-month lease at $2,500 a month, all utilities included, and it's been going great so far. And now I'm back and knocking out this blog and whatnot, and so it's been going great. But I wrote down all my expenses again to kind of show you what I kind of budget for. So in the last video we talked about expenses and coming up with our freedom number. So all my expenses here, because all utilities are included, which I'm not going to be doing, once I leave here. They're going to be paying for electricity and stuff like that. But for them and, the amount I charge for rent, I pay for these things, and, I budget for it. So with mortgage, HOAs, cable, etc., I come up with about $4,595. Okay, but for me, as a captain, my basic allowance for housing is $3,050. Now, again, by myself, that 1% rule isn't working. Wouldn't be able to swing it, but I get $2,500 a month for rent. So my total rent is $55.50, and minus those expenses that we talked about, and I'm getting about $955 extra per month just by renting out my extra rooms. Okay, now these are after all expenses are budgeted for, vacancy, capital expenditures like big ticket items like a new water heater or a new roof, but the HOA covers the roof, so that's on point. So I budget for that kind of stuff. And I'm currently in the process of refinancing the house to go from 4.375 to potentially 2.25 rate over 30 years, which it's probably going to save me like another $650. So add that to the $955, and I'd be getting about $1,500 a month extra for the remainder 10, 11 months that I'm living here. Now, what can I do with that? Total, that over 12 months, that's about $18,000. $18,000 is 20% of a $93,000 house. Okay, so as I'm gaining income every month, I try to make my money work for me. I still do a thrift savings plan, TSP Roth, and a Roth IRA, but my percentages, I'm not maxing those out because I want that liquid cash to kind of make my money work for me right now and invest it in these rental properties and try to grow that portfolio. So overall, that's pretty much what I'm getting. I wrote down kind of the numbers, with the rental amounts that I'm getting. Initially, I got $2,200 a month for about 10 months, then $2,500 times 11 months with the second renters, and now my third renter's getting given $2,500 for 12 months. And at the end of that, it'll be just under $80,000 at $79,500. That extra income that I'm getting and offsetting. Now, what is that $80,000? What can I do with that? Typically with rental properties, and it's pretty evident here now with this COVID going on, that people who aren't working, they can't pay rent. So as landlords, responsible landlords, you try to work with your tenants, making it work, but you're also budgeting for these type of scenarios. So rule of thumb, you want about 4 to 6 months worth of expenses, mortgage, debt, and things like that, in case if things go wrong, if we have another pandemic or anything like that, it's coming out of pocket, and we are buying ourselves time to find a solution to getting renters in there, make any necessary rehabs or whatnot. So again, this is a Hawaii house, very expensive, and my number to build up to for expenses would be about, with this new mortgage coming in, about $3,000. So 6 months times $3,000 with mortgage and HOAs covered over here would be about $18,000. And through my rental income coming in over the last 2.5 years and my deployment, I was able to get this $18,000, and now it's just sitting. It's sitting in savings account for this specific house, and going forward, all these other houses that I plan on purchasing and receiving passive income on, you need, or I'll be budgeting for these expenses and having separate accounts for them in case these issues arise. But that's basically my story. Kind of last thing before I go, my buddy Craig Curlop, I work with him at Pleasant Valley Country Club. We were banquet service together, and he works at, I think he still works at, Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets is like the #1 educational free resource out there right now for real estate, along with active duty passive income, specifically working with the military and their spouses. But Craig, he wrote a book on house hacking, pretty much how to live for free. And in my comments section, I'll leave a note or a link to his book. It's about, I think, $8, so instead of having a coffee or something like that over the next week or so, go out, read his book. It's a great book, and it kind of shows you how to do things and how to cut things out of your life that aren't necessarily important, in order to reach your goals moving forward with real estate. So that's pretty much it on Summary Sunday. I hope you guys learned some things, and that was my story of how I made about 80 grand extra in passive income. So let me know if you got any questions, and leave them in the comments, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right.